not joking. All my guys, them know me.
Hello guys, what's up and welcome back again to my YouTube channel. My name is Melissa, and if you're new on this channel, please like this video, subscribe, click the notification bell so that whenever I post, you'll be the first to find out. You guys, you will not believe that I've been filming for the past 15 minutes with no audio, only to realize that my mic was not connected. Oh my goodness. Anyway, we move. So if my morale is down in this video, just understand that I'm tired, I'm burnt out, because I don't know why this will happen to me now. So obviously I have to start filming again. So as well. Anyway, people, so today we're going to be talking about something very important. Now, you guys know that currently in the process of wrapping up a lot of things, so it has really broadened my eyes, you know, to what's actually going on in this property business, in this mortgage business. That's why some people tell you outrightly that they cannot do this mortgage thing. It's either they save up enough money to be able to buy up a house up front, or they just give up totally because they cannot come and die. This is a lot, especially when they now even hear stories from people that their homes ended up in negative equity. They're like, whoa, is that how it works? Hands up. Thank you for telling me this. I'm not doing it again. I'm not gonna buy a home. So guys, today let's talk about negative equity. It's trending. Everybody's buying a house in 1 year, in 6 months, in actually 2 years. 2 years is like the unwritten time frame, you know, for buying a home in the UK. Once you come to the UK, you're expected to buy a home in 2 years. And pepe people on TikTok, okay? Pepe Instagrammers, pepe YouTube people, prepare your village people that you've landed. Of course, it's always good to own a property, but sometimes just the way it occurs in life, there are always pros and cons to this thing. So we have to put some things into consideration so we don't actually end up regretting buying our properties, or because obviously it's a lot of money investing in these things. Now we're going to talk about negative equity. Negative equity occurs when the value of a house falls below or less than the money that you owe the bank, or the money that you still owe on your mortgage. Let's say the principal amount that you purchase a home in this instance is £250,000, and then we're not talking about the interest, we're just talking about the principal amount. It's £250,000, and you are contributing, let's say, £20,000 to the property whilst buying it. Obviously, what that means is that the principal amount you owe in the bank is £230, right? And then after 5 years, of course, the idea thing, you would expect the home, you know, to appreciate, if not so much, but at least to a great extent. Because when you buy home like a new build, in our case we bought a new build, when you buy a new build home, you would expect it to decline a bit, especially for the first 2 years. And sometimes if you're lucky, the third year it peaks. Of course, it depends on the market situation at the time and circumstances, which of course we're going to talk about today. But ideally, in 5 years or 6 years or even 10 years, your home should have built a reasonable equity. But in 5 years or 6 years, you evaluate your house and realize that the home that you bought for £250,000, let's assume that for the next 5 years, or depending on the number of years you put on your mortgage, let's just assume in this instance that you've paid off £10,000 of that mortgage. So in this instance, £10,000 plus your initial 20,000 deposit, which of course is £30,000. You've contributed £30,000 towards the principal amount of this mortgage. So obviously, what that means is that you should be owing the bank £220,000. This is of course excluding the interest rate. And then in 5 years or 6 years, you evaluate it and realize that your home is now worth £190,000 or £200,000. So like, what? My home that should be appreciating is depreciating. What that means is that even if you sell your home, you still have a lot of money to pay the bank because you are in negative equity. Your home is in minus. Instead of appreciating, it's depreciating. This occurs a whole lot more. Trust me, guys, a lot more than people actually talk about it. And I think this is one of the main reasons why people are so discouraged to get mortgages. Now, why does this occur? Of course, number one, the location of where you buy your home matters a whole lot. Some towns are so notorious in building up negative equity in homes because the city is not really so exposed. There are not a lot of good schools, unemployment rates, a whole lot of things to consider. Number one, we have hall, guys, hall. I'm not saying you should avoid hall, but like hall is quite notorious for things like this. So you need to be very careful when purchasing a home in Hull, in Middlesbrough, in Grimsby, some parts of Liverpool and Sunderland, you know, just to mention a few, but there are a whole lot more those cities. Number two, market value. If there's a decline in market value, it tends to affect your home, especially if you bought your home at its peak, you know, when, you know, market was at its peak, and then all of a sudden there's a huge decline. Now you're stuck with your home. You don't know what to do. So for example, during COVID, there were lots of financial crises going on. People were not buying, people were not selling, businesses were closing, or people were losing their jobs. The UK, for example, went into recession. And I don't even know if we are still in recession or we've come out of recession. But like a whole lot of things happened during the COVID era, which of course, this tend to affect market prices. For example, you bought your home doing a market high, let's say for £300,000, and then there's a decline or there's a crash in, you know, property value or market value. And then your home you bought for £230, contributing towards the home, and from nowhere your home is now valued at £250,000. So that means you're in a loss, you're in a minus. So you might just have to now continue just living in the home because you can't really sell, and renting might not even be a good idea. So you're just stuck with the home, or you choose to sell the home and pay up the difference. Number two, of course, is when you put little amounts of deposit. So that's why it's always good to take your time when buying a home. There's actually no need for the rush, because trust me, the more you save up, the better for you. Let's say you contribute 20% towards the value of your home. Even if there should be a little shake up in the market, you will not be so affected, because I mean, you contributed a higher deposit towards that home. But it's a situation where, let's say you deposit 5% as deposit. So for example, the house you want to buy is valued at £200,000, and you contribute 5%, which is £10,000, which means you still owe, you know, the bank. I'm talking about the principal amount in this case, not even interest rate, £190,000. If the house value should drop by 5%, it means you owe the bank £190,000. The property is still same, it has not appreciated, and it should even decline way below 5%. That means you will now find yourself in a minus. So the higher your deposit, the better for you. Low deposit is risky because you start with very little cushion, and a small dip in prices can just keep you underwater. You have to always have that in mind. Number three, high interest rate. I think there was a period when interest rate was so high as 7%, 8%. People were buying. At the time we bought our home, I think it was even at 2.something%. You can imagine. But like, there was a phase where people were buying homes as high as 7%, 8%. I'm like, do people actually know what you're doing? Why don't you just calm down? Like, why the rush? Unfortunately, nobody can really predict these things. Sometimes mortgage advisors, they predict that interest rates will be higher at a certain period of time, and it just seems, or it's just a little bit high, not so much. And sometimes they predict that it's going to be low, but then again, nothing changes. So nobody can really predict these things, but at least it's always good to monitor trend, monitor the market. Mortgage repayment usually consists of two parts: interest rates and the principal, which I've talked about. Interest rate, of course, is, you know, the cost of borrowing the money, and of course the principal is the actual loan that you borrowed. For example, you come to me and you want me to lend you 5,000, and I'm like, if you're gonna pay this 5,000 in 2 years, that means you have to give me 20,000, because I mean, that's a long time. Do you get what I mean? Most times at the beginning of your mortgage, most of your payment tends to actually go into your interest rate. As a matter of fact, some rental business, some people that do buy to rent, when they buy the property, if they choose to rent the property with the interest and principal, nobody is going to rent the house. So most times they do the interest only kind of thing, where the tenant just pays or contributes towards the interest rates. When they are ready to sell off the property, the only thing they now need to pay the bank is the principal amount. So that way they're able to get their money back, because if they choose to, you know, rent the property with both the interest and principal, most tenants may not even be able to, you know, rent the home, because in that instance you might see a 3-bedroom home now going for as high as, let's say, £1,800. Like, what's people's wages? Like, how many people can actually afford to rent a home of £1,800? Like, what's their salary? Do you get what I mean? When it comes to like mortgages, especially mortgages where you, the owner, you're actually living in the home, and you bought your property when the interest was very, very high, and most of your contribution is towards the interest, you know, because principal tends to reduce slowly over the years, which means your total loan value is still high. You know, that's why people spread the amount for like 35 years or 30 years or 25 years. So because obviously the principal remains low, if house prices should fall, it means that the money that you are still owing the bank is very, very high. In return, it means that the value of your home will drop below what you actually owe. That means you're now in negative equity because your debt isn't shrinking enough to match up with the market trend or the value of your property according to the market. It might be shocking to you, but new build, see, new build often comes with premium. There's always this debate, new build versus old build. I'm not really about to go through that, but if you ask me, I would say buy a new build, of course, because I love shine, I love new things. But if you're thinking about buying to rent, please don't buy a new build to rent though. Buy an old build, because most times what happens with new build is these developers, they tend to add more money than actually the market value of new build because of the shine is beautiful, you're the first occupant, so it comes with a price. Meanwhile, like the standard of your home when it comes to like old build might be valued at £220,000, and yours that is a new, because of the shine and everything, will now be valued at, let's say, £260,000 or even £280,000. But when you live in that property for the first 2 years, obviously the shine will reduce. So most times it's at that point your shine or your beautiful new build will match up with an old build of even like 10 years. And remember, you bought your new build for, let's say, £260,000, when at the time old build that like your home with similar standard or structure, you know, as your home was, let's say, like £220,000. So your new build will continue to like struggle to build enough equity. So you want to be very careful with your new build, except of course you're not bothered, you're living in new build, your plan is to live in new build for like 10-20 years. Obviously with time it will match up with trend. But if your plan is to just sell off the home quickly, then that's when you have to now be very strategic. Buy your new build in a very developed area where there are good schools close by. Check the rating of schools around you. Check the access to supermarkets, how easy it is to supermarket, how easy it is to bus station, to bus stop. Like my area, for instance, where I am, from my home to like bus stop is like 8 minutes walk, which I don't find funny because it's on the hill. So most times you have to climb hill, which I don't really like. So these are the things you need to check. Schools, churches, businesses around, hotels around, the roads, how accessible is it? These are the things you need to check, because these are the things that actually add up to the value of your home. And of course, another issue, like I mentioned, wider economic problem, like during the time of COVID. So obviously you need to consider all these things. And once you notice that your home is now in minus, at that point, just stay put to the home. Don't sell, because you might now need to pay the difference. Still put, manage your home. Add, renovations to the home, just things to make your home a little bit more fancy, to make your home, a whole lot, more appealing. Of course, you can always speak with your lender. If you have enough money, you can try to add money, to increase your deposit, in the home, or you simply wait until, it's time to remortgage your home. Because, you've owned the home for a while, you cannot be able to have access to a whole lot of lender, unlike when you're just like a first-time buyer and you're at the mercy of lenders. But now you're in your home, you've lived in your home for a while, you've been paying it off, so your credit is good, you can then try to remortgage last, like seek for another lender with a better interest rate. So obviously negative equity is actually way more common than people actually talk about. It is so common, but obviously nobody wants to talk about their losses. Everybody likes to just talk about their gains. They don't like to share their losses, they just chest it. But yeah, I just hope this video is enlightening, even though I know that some of you already know about it. Like, okay, Melissa, I know what next. But yeah, know that not everyone is aware. Okay, hope you enjoyed this video. What are the other reasons why a home could be in negative equity? Please share in the comment section. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. And I'm glad this is my big shark jacket. I didn't even realize it was even this big, not until I put it on. Like, it's so, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed my video. That's the most important thing. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye, guys.